The story of the atomic age did not begin with the mushroom cloud over Hiroshima. It did not begin in a secret lab hidden in the deserts of New Mexico. It began with a quiet moment on a quiet day, when an aging physicist sat down to sign a letter that he didn't even write himself. A letter he hoped no one would ever have to read. A letter that would change the world in ways he could never reverse. The year was 1939. Europe was shivering under the shadow of a coming war. Across the continent, Adolf Hitler's Germany was growing more powerful, more aggressive, and far more dangerous than anyone wanted to admit. Scientists who understood physics could sense something in the air, something terrifying, something new. A discovery had been made, small, invisible, but world-changing. The splitting of the atom, nuclear fission, a scientific breakthrough that opened the door to unimaginable destruction. Einstein, living quietly in the United States after fleeing Nazi Germany, followed the news closely. He was a man known for ideas that transformed physics, ideas that bent time and space, ideas that helped unravel the universe. But now, his mind kept returning to a darker possibility. If nuclear fission could be controlled, it could create a weapon unlike anything in human history. And Germany had some of the best scientific minds on Earth. For Einstein, this thought became a nightmare that followed him into every waking moment. He was not a man who believed in violence, but he understood the consequences of ignoring danger. He knew the Nazis, and he knew what they were capable of. In the summer of 1939, two fellow physicists, Leo Szilard and Eugene Wigner, came to Einstein's cottage on Long Island. They arrived not as scientists, but as messengers, carrying a warning. Germany was buying up tons of uranium from all over the world. Uranium, the key to building a nuclear chain reaction. Szilard feared the Germans were racing toward the creation of an atomic bomb. Einstein listened, shocked. The danger was real, the timeline was unknown, and the United States had no idea. Szilard proposed writing a letter to the President of the United States, Franklin D. Roosevelt. He believed that only Einstein's voice was powerful enough to make the government take this seriously. Einstein agreed. The letter would warn Roosevelt that Nazi Germany might be developing an atomic weapon and that the United States needed to begin its own research before it was too late. Einstein didn't write the letter. Szilard drafted it, revised it, and shaped it. But Einstein's signature, the most famous scientific name in the world, would give it weight. The letter was shocking in its simplicity. It explained the possibility of building an atomic bomb. It described the immense energy that could be released. It warned that the Nazis could be building such a weapon. And most importantly, it urged the United States to act quickly. Einstein hesitated before signing it. He had always seen science as a tool for understanding, not destruction. And yet, the world he loved was in danger. If Hitler reached the bomb first, the consequences were unthinkable. Finally, with a slow, heavy movement, he signed his name. The signature that had once changed physics now would change the future of war. The letter was delivered to Roosevelt in October 1939. The world had just watched Germany invade Poland. The Second World War had begun. Roosevelt read the letter carefully, absorbing every word. Then he looked up and said a sentence that would start a global transformation. We must act. Those three words ignited a chain of decisions that would lead to the Manhattan Project, the most secret and expensive scientific project in human history. Thousands of scientists across America were quietly recruited, labs were built in deserts and mountains, and research began under intense secrecy. Many of the scientists involved understood exactly how dangerous their work was. They had devoted their lives to discovery, but now they were building a weapon that could burn cities to the ground. They justified it with one thought: Nazi Germany was racing for the same prize. Einstein, however, was not invited to join the project. The US government believed he was a security risk, too outspoken, too pacifist, too unpredictable. The irony was painful. The man whose letter had started it all was now being kept at a distance from the very project his signature had inspired. Still, Einstein followed the progress from afar, increasingly troubled. The bomb was moving from theory to reality, and although it was being built to stop a dictatorship, he feared what would happen once the weapon existed. In April 1945, Germany fell. Hitler was dead. The Nazi atomic program had failed. The fear that had driven Einstein to sign the letter had vanished, but the bomb was nearly complete. The project had grown beyond its original purpose. Now it was a machine with its own momentum, and it was too late to turn back. Einstein felt a chill when he realized this. The world had stepped onto a path with no return. That summer, 2 bombs were dropped: Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Cities burned. Tens of thousands died within seconds. The world learned the true meaning of nuclear power. When Einstein heard the news, he was devastated. He had warned the United States to build the bomb before the Nazis. But now, with the war ending, he felt responsible for what had happened. The letter he had signed had not just changed history, it had ended it for countless people. Einstein would spend the rest of his life advocating for peace, nuclear regulation, and global cooperation. He told reporters again and again that he regretted signing the letter. He believed that if he had not warned Roosevelt, the bomb might not have been created, or at least not so quickly. But history does not offer clean answers. The Nazis really were investigating uranium. The United States really was unaware. Einstein's warning was necessary, and yet its consequences were catastrophic. The atomic age arrived not with glory, not with celebration, but with a single sheet of paper carrying a famous name. A letter written out of fear, a signature given in hesitation, a warning that spiraled into an arms race that still shapes the world today. When Einstein looked back on it all, he said something that captured his deepest regret. "If I had known they would not succeed in making an atomic bomb, I would not have lifted a finger." The irony of history is that sometimes the people who try to prevent disaster end up creating a different one. Einstein did not want power. He did not want weapons. He wanted peace. But in trying to save the world from Hitler, he helped give it the power to destroy itself. This is the story of how a single letter, born out of fear, written by brilliant minds, and signed by the world's most famous scientist, pushed humanity into a new era. An era where the fate of nations could be decided in minutes. An era where war would never be the same. An era built on a truth Einstein wished he could take back. The atomic age arrived with ink on paper. And once the ink dried, the world was never the same again.